Hi, my name is Bruce Kramer, and I'd like to talk a little bit about how I got involved with New York Adoption Equality's efforts to get the New York Bill of Adoptee Rights passed. This is Assembly Bill number A02901, sponsored by David Weprin of Queens. And I'd also like to talk a little bit about what I learned about advocacy and lobbying. A few years ago, I was searching for my birth mother. I'm an adoptee, and I came across Bastard Nation, which is an advocacy group for adoptees' rights. Years went by, and I saw a Facebook campaign by New York Adoption Equality, which has sort of joined with Bastard Nation as an ally in order to get the New York Bill of Adoptee Rights passed. I liked their Facebook page, and shortly thereafter I was private messaged by one of the organizers inviting me to get more involved. I agreed largely because I feel strongly about the issue, and honestly partly because I had an advocacy assignment to complete. This was an existing bill, which already had a sponsor. I have not actually seen the process when a bill does not exist yet. So when New York Adoption Equality announced they were going up to Albany April 21st, I took that day off work and went up to Albany by Greyhound and joined them. This was my first time meeting legislators in Albany. I'd been there as a tourist before, but not on business. I found Albany a little bit challenging to navigate. It wasn't well marked. It was hard to find where you needed to be, and everyone there seemed to assume that you already knew your way around. I met three of the organizers that morning in the Dunkin' Donuts in the basement of the Legislative Office building, and there was a volunteer as well. There were other groups also getting together at Dunkin' Donuts. Our group had met the evening before, without me, at the house of one of the organizers, putting together pamphlets and folders, etc., and we're finishing up folders. Two of the organizers are practicing attorneys. One is a seasoned webmaster, and there was another volunteer besides myself. Clearly, it's very helpful to have a team of people with legal, internet, and communication skills for advocacy. The attorneys, of course, had an in-depth knowledge of legislation, and the webmaster had the IT and communication skills to put together a large, informative, and attractive website for New York Adoption Equality. It's also helpful to have a good printer for brochures, cards, etc., that sort of thing. The organizers had a list of the Democratic Assembly persons who were not yet committed, and I later discovered that that list had been compiled by one of the staffers of the sponsor, Assemblyman David Weprin of Queens. We did not have appointments except one appointment with Assemblyman Weprin in his office midday, and we set off to individually meet with as many legislators and staffers as possible. We practiced our elevator speech, which was, "Have you heard of David Weprin's bill for adoptee rights, allowing adult adoptees to get their original birth certificates? Do you have any objections to this bill? Address the objections as best you can and promise that we will follow up with more information. Thank the person and give them an apple." Since we had no appointments, we stuck to the elevator speech to be respectful of people's time. I was able to meet and speak with staffers for all of the legislators that I was assigned. Their doors were open. They were all willing to speak briefly. They were often busy, but they were willing to speak. Aside from Assemblyman Weprin, I did not meet with any of the legislators directly, although others from our group did. The Albany staff seems small, and anyone in the office holds a substantial position and is worth speaking with. All were at least polite, even when I was warned that the legislator seems clearly against us. Midday, we all met in the office of the bill's sponsor, Assemblyman David Weprin from Queens. The organizers and Assemblyman Weprin discussed some other legislators that we were trying to get on board and briefly discussed why this bill was so important. The Albany day seems rather short, at least for lobbying and meeting with legislators and staffers. We started lobbying around 10:30. We ended around 2:30. I'm sure they do plenty of other things during the day, but that's the period of time to reach people. While I was walking through the halls, there were many other groups also lobbying. There were what seemed like rivers of nurses and also groups of pharmacists. There were some groups that had clearly brought dozens of supporters to Albany by bus using strength in numbers. Perhaps numbers might backfire. I did hear one staffer ask another if they survived one of the larger groups, which was lobbying. Advocacy can take many forms, and when one of our group complimented the hospital one of the nurses worked at, she replied, "We love it too, but we want them to staff us safely." This was just a casual form of advocacy. I just wanted to share what it was like and what I learned from the process of lobbying legislators. I hope this was helpful. And I made another video with more information on the bill itself. That's A02901. And I put links in the description for New York Adoption Equality and Bastard Nation. Thank you.